This is a video on how to play open array targets. I'm going to show you the directions page now. You get to decide whether you're playing for a 3-digit target or a 4-digit target. Since it's the first time, I would recommend playing for a 3-digit target. Only you or your partner need to spin. So you could do a rock, paper, scissors to see who gets to spin for the first round. I'll just spin this time. And the target number I landed on is 400. I'm going to play in orange, and then I'm going to pretend that you guys are playing as a class in black because that's the closest color to a pencil. We are both going to write down that the target that I landed on was 400. And this is going to be round one. Then, because we're playing for a 3-digit number, we only use 2 dice. So it says here we use 1 dice that is numbered 4 through 9, which will be in red. And then 1 dice, depending on whether we're doing a 3-digit target or a 4-digit target, we use either 1 or 2 black dice. Since it's a 3-digit target, we use 2 dice. I'll play first, so I roll. And I can either make a 91 with those dice or a 19. And then I'm going to pick a number to get as close to 400 as I can to multiply it by. So I know 19 is really close to 20, and I could think how many 20s would get me to 400. Or if I wanted to, I could make this 91, which is kind of close to 100. I could try to make that. I have to think how many of those could get me to 400. So if it was 100, I would have 4 of them. I could try multiplying 4 times 91. So if that's the case, I'm going to write down 91 here. And then I'm going to make an array down below that shows what 91 times 4 would be. So I'm going to put 4 on one side. And then I'm actually, instead of making 10 nines here, I'm going to start with 90. And this is just going to be 1. If I'm multiplying 90 times 4 to get how many squares would be in the inside, I would multiply the 9 times 4 and put a 0 on the end. And this is when you might want to use your multiplication chart if you're not great with your 9s yet. Because there's a lot to think here. I would not recommend that you add 9 4 times. It's just going to slow down the game and the understanding of how to make an array with 2-digit numbers. So I'm going to do 9 times 4 is 36 and put a 0 on the end. And then I'm going to do the 4 times the 1 and just get 4. So I got 360 and 4. That's going to get me a total of 364. That's not super close to 400, so you might do better than I on this round. Remember, the goal is to get as close to possible to our target number. So now the next person gets to roll, and I have a student roll for me, and they get 2 6s. So in this case, if you get a double, there's no way of making a different number. You have only the option of 66. So you have to think how many 6s could get me, how many 66s could get you close to 400. So 66 is sort of close to 50. If I did a little bit less than how many 250s get me 100, and then I would do another 2 to get me 200, another 2 would get me 300, and another 2 would get me 800. another 2 would get me 400. So that would be 8 of them. But again, 66 is higher. So I'm thinking if I did 7, I might be a little over. You can't go over the target. So let's see if I separate that to be 60 times 7 and 6 times 7, what would I get? So I would do 7 times 6 and get 42 with a 0. I'm already over. So I'm going to start that over, and I'm going to do one less, and we'll do 6 of them. 6 times 6 is 36, and put a 0 on the end. And then I get another 6 times 6, which is 36. So we'll add those two amounts together. 360 plus 36. And then we add that up. And we get 396. You are a lot closer to 400 than I am. So I'm thinking you get the point for this. But let's see how far away you are. You're only 4 away, because if I count up from 396 to 400, I'd go 397, 98, 99, and then to 400. So you're 4 away. I, on the other hand, if I wanted to subtract or add up, I'm a lot farther away. 400 minus 364. I might have to make some trades here. And if this is kind of difficult for you, if you get really far away from it and you're having difficulty with the subtraction, you could count up from 364 to 370, and then that would give you 6, the 6. And then from 70 to the next 100 would get you, to get you would be 30. So 36 away I was. So you get the point for that one. So you're the winner, and we can put a star there or a smiley face or a +1 that you won that round. Then you would go to the next round, and whoever didn't spin on the first time would spin this time. So again, same thing, still the 3-digit number. So you're going to multiply a 1 digit by whatever you roll. This time our target is 200. So I am going to write 200 on mine. You're going to write 200 on yours. And then we roll. So whoever spun can go first. And this time they got either a 59 or a 95. Ooh, 95 is really close to 100. So I'm going to do 2 times 95 for you. And we'll write that we rolled a 95, and 2 times 90 and 5. I'm separating the 90 and 5 because I know multiplying by zeros is easy. So I can do 9 times 2 as 18 and then put the 0 on the end. Then I'll do 2 times 5 and get 10. So I got to 190 because 180 plus 10 is 90. That is just 10 away from my target, or you guys are 10 away from your target. So now it's my turn to roll. Let's see. I got a 1 and a 6. I could either times something by 16, or I could times something by 61. That's a hard one. I think I want to try, if I did, even if I multiply this number by 9, 9 tens would be 90. 9 sixes would be 54. 90 plus 54, I'm not sure if that's going to get me close enough to 200. So I'm going to see if I could do 60 a certain number of times. So I'll write down the numbers that I rolled, a 6 and a 1, and then I will multiply that by, I'm going to see if I did 6 of them, that was going to get me toward 400. Let's say if I round this down to 50, which is a lot less, but I know 2 50s would be 100, and then two more would be another 100, but 61 is less. So let's see what 3 61s get me. I'm going to multiply 3 times 60 and 3 times 1, because 60 and 1 get me the full 61. So 6 times 3 is 18, and then I put a 0 on the end. 3 times 1 is 3. I still didn't get super close because 180 plus 3 is 183. If I subtract that from 200 to find the difference between my number and the target number, I could count up from 83 to 90, that's 7, and then another 10 would get me to 200. So let's see, if I make my trades, am I getting that? 10 minus 3 is 7, 9 minus 8 is 1. I am 17 away. You are only 10 away, so that means you get the point again. And since it's been over 10 minutes, we are going to stop there and say that you are the winner.